Black is an identity you have to qualify on your ID. Black is literally a racial identifier. It's tangible. Black is traceable.
So if an African come over here, they black.
Yeah, they black.
And automatically.
But if we go to Africa, that don't make us African.
Because they
that's crazy?
What?
If we go to Africa,
because you just quantified them different. You said, was I born in this continent versus do I identify physically with?
Have you looked at an African ID? When you over there?
Yeah.
Did it have black or where are they from? Like the African country on there?
It just said origin. Ghana.
And and I'm glad you said that. And here's why I asked you that question. Because America is one of the few only countries that identifies race. No other, and this is what makes Black Americans so unique.
Here we go.
And us in a prime position to lead the world in the future.
Oh, here we go.
Is because all the groups of the world, the dark colored people groups of the world, they can identify with our group.
Well, guess what?
And collaborate with our group to make global change for our people across the world.
Guess what? Because South Africa do it too.
Okay, so they identify, but first off, South Africa is a smaller population of Black people than it is in America.
What?
South
Are you talking about numbers? Because the percent.
Yeah, population-wise.
The percent is crazy.
No, not percentage. Population-wise, number-wise. If you had a South African Black Army and the U.S. Black Army, our army is like 2-3x big size of South Africa. So that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to the point of Black Americans are in a prime position to lead the future of Black people globally and to unite.
When you say in a position, what does that mean?
Unite Black people globally. Meaning that, you said, what do I mean by what?
When you say we're in a position to.
We're in a position because we have the most privilege out of all those groups. You can't go anywhere else.
I could agree with that.
Anywhere else in the world and prosper.
Do we utilize our privilege appropriately?
A small percentage of us do, unfortunately.
Very small. Yeah. You're talking about a small percent of a small percent.
That's because only a small percentage take advantage. Excuse me. Just only because a small percentage take advantage of the privilege doesn't mean the privilege doesn't exist for all.
No, I know that. I agree with that.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Black America. I'm just saying. I just want Black folk in America to be proud of being from America, bro.
I don't.
To be proud of being American. Your folks built this. Your folk built something incredible that the world never seen. The world has never seen Black people like they've seen Black Americans. We literally come from and just
because the world ain't seen other Black people.
Less than 200. No, the world has definitely seen other Black people.
No.
In less than 200 years, we went from being illegal for you to learn to read to having in a 200-year jump, becoming presidents of the country, becoming billionaires in the country, becoming industry leaders of the country, building schools, like in just 200 years. There's countries, African countries, South American countries that are heavily Black populated that's been around for thousands of years and haven't made the leap.
If that's the case, you should thank white people.
I'm just saying.
If that's the case, you have to thank white people.
As they teach you in therapy, you have to learn to make the losses count towards your purpose. So slavery was a terrible thing, but we gonna make the best out of a terrible situation.
Well, I'm talking. So listen, I'm never one.
It was a terrible opportunity. Let's just say that slavery was it was a terrible opportunity. They said, "Look, we're gonna give you slavery. Now you're gonna be better than all other Blacks in the world, but you're gonna have to work for free for generations and have to do inhumane things."
And that's the thing. Like one of my things about when you talked about traveling. And you don't, because you said something about this a while ago when we was talking in the DM, and you was basically like, traveling ain't, what did you say? Something, traveling is for women or something like that. You said something. I
said it's for women?
Yeah.
I ain't say it was for
women. Yeah, you and somebody else that we was talking, and we.
I said traveling is for women?
Yeah.
I would never say anything like that. I don't think traveling. I don't think traveling is specifically for women. I think anybody can obviously travel. I think it's actually more dangerous for women to travel than it is for men to travel, especially alone.
Yeah, but I think
not even outside the country, going to Quick Trip at 2 a.m.
But so my issue is, I think it's imperative that we travel so that because everything in a vacuum. I
agree with that.
Everything in a vacuum can get lost, right?
I agree with that. I just don't think that the problem is most people go broke travel, meaning most people go into debt. And I looked up the research. Most people go into debt to travel. That means that they can't afford to travel.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
No, it's the same conversation. It's like Why are you
physical responsibility? Now we can talk about that,
right? Responsibility, but it's like, what are you traveling for? What's the purpose of traveling? If you're traveling, like me and you always talk about, if you're traveling with the same set of knowledge and you're going elsewhere and you're not coming back with new knowledge, you're just coming back with new places of the same experiences.
I'm with you in that. Like, this is why I don't resort travel. I don't travel to sit at somebody's resort and never leave the resort just so I could check off a place on my list.
I'm with you on that.
I am one of those people that'll come up with 100 things but the primary goal is to meet people that live there and see what their experiences are. I want to meet professional people, working class people, like everyday Americans that aren't always synonymous. I mean, not Americans. Everyday people of those places that aren't synonymous with the poorest among them. Like, what's happening with common folks? Like, when you think of, like, when I thought of South Africa, I was like, oh, this might be. I was against going there for a long time because I thought that it was the white Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the whitest place to go.
Yeah, but it's a white safe haven in Africa.
So what ends up happening is, like, I still have my perspective. Though 85% of their population is black, and 15%, about 15%.
Shout out to the 85%. I just want to say.
Yeah, what ends up happening is that 15% controls over 85%. And I don't mean
just the 85%, 85 South Show. But so it's funny you did say that 85% of the population is black. But 15% control 85% of the 85% of the resources.
And maybe,
that was crazy to me. But that speaks to, again, do you think? And I know they're just coming out of apartheid. And that's the thing. I want to say this about black people. We gotta stop looking to find the victimization in situation, and acknowledge that where's victimization, but find the heroism in circumstances.
Are we talking about that because of apartheid?
Because people say, well, they just had apartheid, and you got people from European countries that still control the land and the resources, and and black Americans got slavery, and we had slavery and how it affected. While true, at the end, also, that doesn't negate the work that has to be done to rid our communities of all this economic turmoil.
Are we talking about black people here? Or are we talking about black people
in general? Because that's a consensual black statement or black position that I'm going to say nearly most blacks take when it comes to, well, why you just didn't self-resolve. And it's always looking out to, well, they made it hard for us to self-resolve. Yes, they did. But guess what? That doesn't negate the fact that we still have to resolve. We have to resolve this issue.
I want to agree with you. I think in America we do have the privilege that so many other people don't have. I was looking it up.
Man, we're talking about these water boys. Them water boys over there. Them banana boys over there overseas, boy, they way more aggressive.
But for real, like, we got to think about it like this. Unemployment rate in America is under 5%. It's under 4%. I think it's like 3.2 last I checked.
What? You said
unemployment rate.
Yeah, Joe Biden's doing a good job.
Which doesn't mean
I'm not a big Joe Biden. I want to say I'm not a Biden supporter. You know what I'm saying? I did vote for him though, but I'm not a supporter. I just thought I knew Trump was a horrible president. But anyway,
but it don't mean that, like, we still feel like our economy is doing bad
right.
And we've lost
because of inflation,
tens and tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, we don't realize perspective. This is why you have to travel, because you get perspective. Again,
but
85% of South Africa is black.
Mm-hmm.
Over 30%. They have over 30% unemployment rate.
Damn.
And it was worse during the pandemic.
Damn. You know, bro.
Sorry, it's approaching 30%. It went down. It was lower than 30% pre-pandemic. It went to 30% post 30% during the pandemic, and now it's hovering around that. They have what they call load shedding.
It's never been that high in America, not even during the Great Depression.
They have what they call load, and that don't account for underemployment.
Oh, damn. So it is probably.
They got what they call load shedding. And load shedding means that 3 times a day the government shuts off power in certain areas, each area. So if you in this district, you get it. You gonna have it between this hours and this hours. You don't have power. The same thing also happens with water at times. So it's really messed up because and when you talk about the water, it's way crazier because they get their water from it's a huge.
I like that hoodie phrase. I just caught that.
Yeah, seven continents.
I like that. All right.
But they cut off your power in 3-hour increments 3 times a day. So the only businesses that can thrive are businesses who have the resources for generators.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Back up.
So that means small and medium-sized businesses won't even thrive because you don't have power, you don't have internet.
So why do they do it? Do they do that to reserve?
Yeah, it said it's done for reserve.
Oh, okay.
However, again, if small and medium businesses aren't thriving, who's thriving?
The ones that's dominant.
Which means that you have to have the money, the capital, right? And then and it's also, I mean, if you actually, it's a high level of corruption that's happening too. So it ain't to pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Wait.
Hold on, I'm about to get to that. And however, I still talk to people who have this ideology that I can do what I want to do before I do what I need to do.
Bingo.
I've met people in South Africa who work in certain industries that will, and I met a young lady who we worked in similar industries, both working HR. She said she picked the wrong industry. She's choosing to go into, get retrained to go into theater.
Oh. So she just so
it seems that there is an opportunity to go into a more lucrative field.
Right.
But that's not
go get lit.
That's not what's going to make her happy. It's unfortunate that this idea permeates. This idea permeates throughout, but there's still this acknowledgement of what we don't have. I think that's a very interesting concept to carry.
Again, and I watched this Nigerian statistician one time speak about how Nigerians have taken advantage of. They've gotten out of that mentality. A lot of them are getting out of that mentality and starting to just self-resolve their own issues instead of relying on the government. And the point was overall just like we don't have the luxury of normalcy, having normal behaviors, exhibiting normal behaviors, and not being severe consequences. We're just not in that position. So she was like, a lot of Nigerians are just getting to that point of understanding we're here to save ourselves. And they do have an economy that is growing, But globally, especially us Americans being at the lead front of black culture and black people in this world with the most privilege, we should lead that front of being the example. It's like being a big brother. You have to be the example to all your little brothers and sisters.
But America been thinking they the big brothers to the tune of
I'm speaking specifically for black folk though. Like we are the big brother of the world. We have the most resources. We have the most opportunity, and we can't. If we sit here and gripe about what we don't have due to systemic issues, then what are other countries that look towards us that are black?
Guess
what are
they
gonna do?
It's people. Despite
what kind of hope do they have?
Despite what we think, it's a lot of people that want to move to America. A lot of people that want to move to America. Despite what we think, it's a lot of people that don't want to move here.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they see how black people, like the portrayal of black people is y'all gangsters and then y'all get killed.
Well, that and a lot, other people from other countries put nation first. Like they're very prideful in their nation.
But it ain't about that because a lot of them want to a lot of people still want to leave where they are because they identify. It's people in South Africa. Now, mind you, I couldn't walk 2 blocks. They telling me not to walk 2 blocks to go to X, Y, and Z place or to the mall or whatever because you never know what's going to happen in those 2 blocks.
You should have took that gold out your mouth.
And had the bees on, man. I thought it was going to bless me. But they don't even want you walking 2 blocks. You got to catch an Uber everywhere. They basically saying it ain't safe anywhere because of the threat of harm.
Yeah.
And it ain't just like...
And it ain't because they're heathens. It's because they doing it to survive.
Yeah. And so even in those situations, they saying, I don't even want to go to America. I don't want to get killed. At least crazy. I understand the threat that I have at home, and I know how to protect myself against that threat.
Right.
I don't even want to go to America because I see how they treat black people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm still advocating, but I'm like, nah, you ain't seen as a black American like that. Like, they not gonna look at you, listen to you speak the Queen's English, and then see you as the same threat as they gonna see me, you and I. Yeah. So,
nah, big fact. They gonna be like, we rooted in pollution.
That being said, if y'all see me get married to a Nigerian or
that's
African in the next year or so,
in your global travels, because I'm very proud of you. First off, 7 continents is amazing. I'm gonna give you your salute.
Not just 7 continents.
I'm gonna give you your salute.
7
emoji.
Continents in 1 year.
I'm gonna give you your salute emoji. That is an amazing accomplishment. During your travels, did you find any